ladies and gents, welcome. We've got some 1v1 2K plus action, so I actually need to check to know what it is these days. I know everyone makes fun of me. They're like, oh, T90 says there's 200 people in the top 100. These guys aren't quite there, but being about like 2030, 2050 elo, being above 2K, I think that's top 300, top 400, something around there. Aremku is a player that I've featured before on my channel. He does a lot of wacky things, okay? And he's a player I really enjoy to watch. He's on the CL clan, so the Clown Legion clan does like his closed maps. The thing I like about this guy is that he doesn't just ban all the open maps all the time. He actually branches out, right? So he will do a mix of everything, and like I said, he can bring that craziness to players that aren't maybe used to it. Now, Oliver Kahn, I believe that is a very famous name from Germany, correct? Is that not like one of the greatest goalkeepers of all time from Bayern Munich? I believe so. This isn't the actual guy, as far as I know. Or am I getting that wrong? There's either gonna be people that are like, whoa, T90, ooh, Americans knowing that sport, what? Or there's gonna be people who judge me because I've got the name wrong. But I believe I'm correct on that. Anyways, I can't verify this, but I doubt this is actually the guy, okay? But I have known of this Oliver Kahn German account for a year or two. He's been around. Again, he's around 2K. So he's been getting better. Dravidians for Aremku. And Dravidians are seen as a bit awkward for open maps right now. You have cheaper infantry upgrades. So going for man-at-arms, for example, can be really strong. You have faster firing skirmishers, and you have good archers. So where they fit into the standardness that can come along the lines of this map would be man-at-arm archer build, right? Huns, usually you're seeing Huns go very aggressive with scouts. We have a 2-on-wood start here for good old Ollie Khan. So Ollie, my boy Ollie's probably just going to open with scouts. But Huns are very flexible, and I think Huns getting into like scouts, knights, cav archers, everything just feels so much stronger on an open map like Arabia. So Aremku is going to have to do what he can to get some control over this game with aggression or be extremely defensive, which I wouldn't necessarily put past him. So we will see. Yo, T90, why don't you show the tower range in your streams? Because I find that the way of showing tower range is very obnoxious. Like, if I could have it so I had a toggle to turn it on at times where I'd need it, I would do it. But having the circles on screen all the time, when that's not relevant information all the time, would ruin what everything looks like, in my opinion. I mean, geez, it actually took me a long time to even start using the tower range or TC range in my actual game. And the only reason I did it is not because I think it's good, not because I think it looks good at all. I think it looks horrible. It's just because everyone else kind of did it because they added it to the game, and I realized I was at a disadvantage. But yeah, if I had a toggle, I would toggle it, but it's very much a use or don't use situation, and so I decide not to use it for my cast. The goalkeeper's surname is Khan, not Khan. Yeah. I should have pointed out that I knew that the spelling was different. I really like Red's name, though, because especially he's playing with Huns here, too, right? It's kind of fitting that if you guys have never seen this Oliver Kahn player before, that you get to see his name. I'm pretty sure, again, not the biggest Bundesliga guy, but I'm pretty sure Oliver Kahn, the goalkeeper, is now like board of directors or something for Bayern Munich as well, right? Like, I think he's still a really big part of that club. But anywho, so as I'd mentioned, thinking man-at-arms archers, Dravidians do get plus 200 wood when they arrive to each age. That plus 200 wood can be really helpful in Feudal Age. Doesn't feel as strong in Castle and Imp, of course, because at that point you're bringing in more resources overall. But can be really helpful time for those resources. All right. Isn't there an option only to show when you click the building? I believe there is, but I click things all the time, right? So I wouldn't want circles showing up all the time. For example, like the Fog of War it's a hotkey for me. So I just go boom. That is very nice for me as I'm casting. If I could have that on a hotkey, I would probably consider it for moments where I needed it. All right, so we have a stable opening for Oliver, who has misclicked. This is your time. People on YouTube may see this later and they will be so impressed with your name, but you, my friend, have misclicked, and you are not building your stable. So that's frustrating thing when it comes to timing, because look at Aremku. Aremku is just going to try and wall up, and he's going to be sending militia forward, one of which is very weak because the starting scout from Red got some hits in on it. But now that scout's not strong enough to be able to stop the walls either. So Man-at-Arms very cheap with Dravidians. Plus you get all that wood, which means you can invest this wood into walling. Normally you would have to think twice about doing that. Being told that Oliver Kahn is the president of sports leadership at the club. Gotcha. And then in his downtime, he plays Age of Empires 2. Got it. But anyways, Red kind of knows this is coming. We'll see what Red's quick walls look like, because quick walls are going to be needed here. No house walling available for the Huns. And awkward. Oh, God, there's 4 of them. Oh, geez. And you can see Aremku's trying to block here. And in the end, he's just going to take an engagement that isn't the prettiest engagement ever. He took a big shot from the TC, and I think he just got too excited. Again, these guys are 2K, right? 2K still very high up there in Age of Empires 2. But I could tell you, when comparing this to someone who's a couple hundred elo higher, like, the top 100 or whatever, it's just sometimes there's a little bit of indecision or trying to force the issue in moments where you could be patient. Like right there, felt like a moment where instead of trying to block, you just say, okay, I'm not going to get that guy, but guess what? I have 4 men-at-arms. We're going to group up on another villager there. And so now that makes this game a bit closer, because I felt like Red's start was rather awkward. Now Red is out and about, and he's ready with the Huns to kill. And he is going to run into walls from Mr. Clown Legion Aremku. I actually have a crazy game on my extras channel where I played Aremku. It was on Arena. It was Japanese versus the Chinese. And he made tons of monks. I'll leave it at that. It was pretty crazy. So, okay, so now Red is getting Town Watch, which feels like a calculated move. I think right before he clicked that, he was unsure where his opponent's army would be. So I really think this is underrated. A lot of people don't click Town Watch in these situations, but he did, and now he has all this extra vision in case the sneak army comes in. Now he's expecting ranged units, but he also didn't know there was an archer range for Aremku because he didn't scout it, but he did just see the archer and the skirmisher. Now some players in Aremku's point of view, or in Aremku's shoes, they would have tried to sneak those ranged units, which is where Town Watch would have been very helpful, and those skirms are very necessary. He is just sitting behind his walls, and he's just happy to sit behind his walls for now. So, wouldn't surprise me at all to see him continue to do that until Castle Age, and then maybe he'll make some decisions from there. And Red still has 1 scout chasing Aremku's scout. This has been happening for a long time. I kind of appreciate the fact that he's still trying to keep that thing alive there. So, all right. Range mod is a toggle in capture age. So is there... maybe there is a hotkey for it, and I'm just not aware of it. I'll have to take a look. But yeah, honestly, I think the only instance where that would be hugely helpful for me would be in a tower situation. Now, we don't see a ton of towers these days. But it's a good point. I want to do any small thing I can do to improve the viewing experience, so if that can help, I will consider it. Again, I don't want to hurt it by something that would be on screen all the time. So no upgrades for either player here on their ranged units. But the start for Aremku is not horrible. He's killed a scout or 2 earlier. Now he's trying to kill these scouts. But Red is just piling on so much pressure here. We will have fletching for Aremku, and then at that point, he can do a bit more damage here. But Red is just swarming him constantly, which is what the Huns are known for. This house is kind of partially down, so you got to be careful here. But the thing is, the skirms are attacking villagers for the most part, because Red is doing other things at home. And, uh-oh, is the house going to go down? The house is going to go down! Disaster! And, oh, God, this could be a really fast game. Oh, boy. I mean, is the spearman dead? Yeah, the spearman's dead now. Let's see how many villager kills actually result from this. Let's see. Hold on. We live here now. New house. Take out one house, I'll build another. Boom. I think RMQ's kind of okay. Again, he only lost one villager there. He's got enough ranged units to be able to push back some of the skirms because... Oh, no, the skirms do have fletching, actually. Well, okay, I take it back. This is extremely awkward at the very least. It is still somewhat manageable. We have a market at home for red. You could tell when he looked home. Boom, couple farms. Boom, market to buy some food. Got to get Castle Age. And just really good aggression and control from him. The hotkey is Control-Alt-Delete. Okay, that's good to know. Thank you. It's funny. I tried Alt-F4 and I tried to delete System 32, and none of those worked. Those seem to be other things people suggest. So, you know, when you sit behind your walls, guys, let this be a lesson to you. When you sit behind your walls against good players, you're just inviting pressure, okay? And I think a lot of people who don't like to receive pressure, they don't help themselves because they themselves don't try and be aggressive. And in turn, what happens is they just get smashed, right? So if you don't like aggression, the best defense for you is actually some form of offense. And RMQ hasn't tried that ever since the Man-at-Arm Rush. And remember, if the Man-at-Arm Rush would have been more successful, maybe killed 2 villagers there, maybe the economy lead would be a bit greater here. And this is where you struggle a bit as the Dravidians because you don't get knights. So making a lot of skirms against the Dravidians is always a good idea. They could make an elephant to push this away. So we'll see. And it could still be crossbowman for RMQ. He's doing his best just to try and hold here, right? Looking for positives where there are few right now for this guy. What elo are they? Yeah, there are 2K players. Would you agree to start out with aggression and with a successful rush, then start to wall? Yeah, I feel like... So the other thing about the Man-at-Arms too is that could have bought him another 2 or 3 minutes if he didn't just fight and die with them, right? So the fact that he fought and died with them and didn't kill villagers hurts him. Because on one hand, he didn't kill vills, obviously. The other hand, he didn't buy time. But he's still in this game, and that extra wood's going to come in. His eco was half decent, and he gets all that extra wood, and he's going to try and sneak now. It wouldn't surprise me at all to see him try and re-wall this. Now, I'm trying to get to my water here, so I might miss this. But okay, red's going to find him. And you could tell RMQ didn't want to move out with everything there. The worst possible position you could really find yourself in present-day Age of Empires 2, though, is when you're going archers with no map control, and you arrive to the next stage with less than 10 archers. Because I say present Age of Empires 2 because the crossbowman upgrade is more expensive now. And, you know, it just feels like the timing is the most important thing with the crossbowman. The top players find their timing. If you don't find that timing, you could be overrun. There's a forward siege workshop from Oliver Kahn, who's got +2 knights now. And just a couple units there survive, but that's not much. And 2 TCs for Aremku, who I believe is trying to get back in shape. I haven't seen this guy play in months. So we might be spectating this guy at a time where he's trying to de-rust, which is maybe not the time that he would want me to be spectating him. But it's not looking good here. Not looking good. 6 to 8 archers has always been a safe space for me, but I'm always caught out. If your range is if you make your range at the start of Feudal and you're always producing archers, you should have way more than that when you arrive to Castle Age, even out of just 1 archer range. Obviously, though, if you're taking engagements, it does depend on the situation. But I'll tell you what, if you're really trying to improve, use Capture Age and click this. Okay? Like, this archer range has been active 71% of the time. This archer range, 54% of the time. Those are things to look for in your play if you're ever wondering what went wrong here. Is army production. Now, this gets interesting for Aremku because it's been super sloppy, but he's on 3 TCs, and he converts that knight, and now that knight can actually take care of the siege threat. That's why almost every single time you see forward siege, you have someone with monks as well. That mangonel will go down. Beautiful play. This monk could maybe live to convert another day. Still big questions over Remku's economy. The idle time is very high. But you don't want to donate more knights here if you're red. And he realizes that monk doesn't have faith right now, but he's really getting bold here. I think the monk's going to hop out of the TC, and there's going to be another conversion here in a second. Oh, maybe not. There's going to be, yeah, some monks on the field. One attempt, and that monk dies. But yeah, another conversion. Okay. I still do feel like Remku's going to struggle to come back. The idle time is just too crazy. This might be relatable for some people watching. It's like the game just kind of falls apart on you. And 3 TCs now for Red. Red's been able to do anything and everything at home with ease, simply due to having a little bit of map control. And I've said this about the Dravidians since they were introduced. They're not really a civilization that has a ton of comeback mechanics on a lands map. So, like, everything kind of has to go right with them, and then if it's not going right, it's going very wrong from there. Okay, so this feature is only available in the Pro version. Okay. Oh, I wasn't aware of that. I forget what's available in the Standard and in the Pro version. But honestly, like, even if you don't want to invest, I think, can't you customize the amount to get the Pro version? I think you could technically do it for, like, $2, right? I mean, it's monthly, right? Which might be hard to justify for some people, but don't quote me on that. I personally support with $25 a month because Capture Age means a lot for me, and I use it for everything. And when I would support them, but okay, $5 is the minimum. Got it. Well, even if you are on the peasant version, as Scorpio's just said, that's something you can be mindful of when you yourself watch your games. And the reason that's very much on my mind right now is that's something that has really changed my outlook on my own gameplay recently. There's been a couple tweaks that have brought me close to 2K4, guys. I think I'm 1 win away from 2400, which I really want to try for. No, there's a hole. Which I really want to try for maybe today or tomorrow. Today and tomorrow is the last time I'll be playing the game in a week, so no better time. Okay, knight gets converted there. That knight deletes. So there's opportunities here for our MQ, certainly. 4 town centers, 10 villagers behind. Has a couple knights that were converted. And we're just going to see light cav here from red. I love this decision. I'm not sure about the +2 attack. I mean, actually, I love it if he can still produce out of all of his town centers and do everything else. Like, I'd prefer the wood upgrade over the +2 attack if you're looking to spend more resources. But he knows his opponent has a lot of monks out there, and the monks don't have sanctity either. So right when our MQ's thinking that, haha, I've got him, there's going to be light cav, and yeah, these monks are all dead. Assuming red micro is even half okay. Bop, bop, and knowing our MQ, he'll probably get a conversion. No. Now all the monks are dealt with. Beautiful play there from red. Worth the investment. I mean, +2 attack, +2 armor is still going to be very nice against low numbers of crossbows. Something our MQ's trying to fix. And red just continues to run in and out of these gaps because he is realizing his opponent isn't rewalling, right? The red's going to run this way now. You could tell he's trying to just make his opponent's life hectic. And switch that to the knight there. Switch that conversion. Oh, he converts the light cap. Beautiful stuff. Okay, he's defended. I mean, it's not the prettiest game ever, but he is actually defended. Red's trying to make it as chaotic as possible all the time. Oh my goodness, there's actually 3 mangonels in here. But your opponent now has 4 knights. You have no monks. He's making only light cap. Interesting. Wow, I mean, 3 mangonels and that many light cap is still pretty decent. There's only 13 crossbows. And bam. He doesn't attack the wood line first. Goes for the TC. Now, of course, his opponent knows. Okay, so this is Red's point of view. Red's had control this whole game. And he runs into the town center fire because he's trying to just get away. And the crossbows are into the TC. And the siege push dealt with. Beautiful hold from our MQ. And Red's still gonna try here, though. He's like, okay, I need to fight. I don't hate it. And again, I don't hate it because he's still producing tons of army, and he's forcing his opponent back all the time. You know what else I don't hate? The fact that Aremku's on the way to imp. I do hate the fact that he's imping in the town center that's being siege pushed. What are you doing? Bro, probably didn't think about it, I guess. But that's a risky game to play. Imp in the forward TC. Normally you imp your starting TC, because that's the first one your game takes you to when you click the hotkey. Unfortunately, Blue's looking for army, and there's very little of it. And the army that is there is actually inside of both of these town centers. Red is raiding and having a field day. There's going to be villagers coming forward there to build a castle. So it's good old all-in Castle Age play from the Huns. One of my favorite things about the Huns is their ability to do this. And he doesn't really have that much on gold either. He doesn't really need it. He's got enough siege to pressure the town center. And then he's doing quite a bit of damage with Light Cav. And if his opponent finds 3 of the areas he's attacking, he's always got a 4th. There's been many instances where Aremku just hasn't been able to keep up with the pace of the game. That's how I lost my 3rd ever ranked game. My forward TC was the Imp TC. Yeah, listen, we've all done it. I've lost games because of it. Like, really important games that would definitely go on my list of best games I played have been lost because of that. Like, I remember a game against Daniel once where I should have beaten him. It would have been a crazy comeback, and he had castle dropped me, and I lost my Imp TC. Oh, man. Red's played super good this game, guys. I mean, RMQ is going to make it up to Imp, but what do you even do with the Imperial Age at this point? Hey, congratulations, you get some wood. Woo, 200 wood. Here's a thought about the Dravidians. Obviously, there's going to be other tweaks made to the Dravidians, so I don't know if this should be taken too seriously. But what if the amount of wood you get when you arrive to the next age scales with what age you arrive in? And by that, I mean, okay, you get plus 200 wood when you make it to Feudal. What if you got plus 300 when you made it to Castle, and then plus 400 when you made it to Imp? Because getting plus 200 when you make it to Imp, it doesn't feel strong, right? It just doesn't feel all that helpful. Because at that point, you have bigger economies. I don't know, it's just a thought.